Stop! What are you doing? This golf green, it is not ready yet. It doesn't even have any grass. It's like the grosh. You can't rush these things. Yep, we're putting in a golf green. A few weeks ago, we were going to turf this lawn, just like we did at the other job a few weeks ago, but we changed our minds. So let's have a little chat about why we did that and how we're going to achieve the golf green look on this lawn. Welcome around the back of the property. If you remember a couple of years ago, we did a scarifying video here, the first and only time we've ever done a video here. Well, as you can see, it came back absolutely fantastic and the garden is looking absolutely beautiful. So why are we putting in a golf green instead of a lawn that we would usually put in? Well, so let me tell you. So as you know, a few weeks ago we did a turfing job over in a place called Bromley Cross, which is looking absolutely great. So I said to the customer, I said, lawn's looking a bit rubbish, we've had the 40-day drought, it's orange, it's 8 years old now, so why don't we redo it, because your house is on the market, so it needs to look nice for people who come and have a look. So we went, yep, no problem. So we dug it up, me and Paul, skipped it, 6 ton of topsoil in, prepped and everything, and we were all ready to turf it. And then we did the turfing job over in Bromley Cross, and that was just too much for my right knee, so I can't envisage doing another 120, 140 square metres of turf around the front. So I said to Martin, how's about we put in a golf green? You're into golf, as you've just seen in the opening credits. Let's put a golf green in. It's something that I think it's about time I did. The audience would love it, and we need to boost viewing figures, so I think this is the way to do it. So we said, fine, let's get on with it. And that's not the only reason we decided to do it. A few weeks ago, Paul sent me these messages that people were talking about on another channel about me. And there's only one thing worse than being spoken of, and that's not being spoken of. So we don't mind being spoken of on other people's channels because it just boosts my popularity. For people who don't already know about me, they will no doubt know about me. So that's another reason we were like sticking our two fingers up and saying, no, I'll tell you what, we're going to do it. We're going to get it right. We're going to do it how bent fescue is meant to be. But we've made the decision based on something that was taken out of my hands that we're going to be doing all bent grass, brown top bent all the way. So let's go and talk about why we're doing that. And if I pull this off to a golf green quality, this will make me the all-time Danny champion of the world. And I've always wanted to say that because it was one of my favourite films growing up. Okay, so before us, we have 2 bags of grass seed. Initially, we were going to go with bent fescue because that seems to be in at the moment. But when the company who I bought this off sent it, it didn't come with any certificate of authentication, if you like, with the seed mixture on it and the percentages, etc, etc. There's no evidence that it was ever on the bag because it's not been ripped off in transit or anything. There's nothing on the bag to suggest what it is. So just because it's such a bespoke job, I can't use this seed, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have done the bent fescue. So what we did was, we thought, why not, after speaking to a couple of people about it, because it's the mixes together, the bent fescue is together in the bag, you can't guarantee where it's going to drop on the ground. So I was like, yeah, because normally what you would do is if they were doing a turf farm, they would probably sow the fescues first, and then they would go over and sow the bents, and then you'll get more of an even distribution. So what we're going to do is, we've got 10 kilos of brown top bent in this bag. It was a lot more expensive. That was about 40 quid. This was 273, so there's a big difference, So you can see the size, there's 10 kilograms in there. That's because the seed's really small. Whereas this is actually kind of got more bulk, if you like. So we're getting more seed for our money. So we're still in the boundaries of the turf. So if we'd have turfed the job, the turf for that would have been about £700. So at 273, we're still well under budget. So it's unfortunate, we couldn't use that, but just, I don't want to open it because I can send it back. I just wish it had come with a label on it, and then I would have had a bit more confidence in using it. But this is the chosen seed, so we're going to sow it. So there's just a few things we need to get in place before we actually sow our seed. We won't be sowing it in today's video, that's a different video. We've got a lot to do before then. But what I want to do is just want to talk about different spreaders. Because the seed is like dust almost, like a strawberry seed in size, we're not going to be able to use the broadcast spreader because we just need a bit more control of where we're dropping. So we're going to use the drop spreader, but because it just comes calibrated for the Miracle Grow stuff, we're going to have to calibrate it ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the garage. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that so we can ensure that when we go out onto our seed bed that we're putting this down at 35 grams a square metre. Alright, so in order to calibrate our spreader for the seed, what we need is we need a square metre on the floor. We've got there a nice bit of cardboard which you can easily pick up and just slide off. We've got the spreader, we've got the seed in there. The brain top bend is absolutely beautiful. I've never touched it before, but it is absolutely beautiful just to swivel your hand in. It's so smooth and so silky. And what I've got over here is my government approved scales which I got from ourway.co.uk from DHHQ, where I weigh out all the bags of the 2 kg, so we know that's spot on. So what we need to do is we need to put this 18. I could start at 2 and work my way up, but I think we'll just work backwards. And if 18 say is like 70 grams, then we know to do it to 9, and hopefully that then would be 35. So we need to get our seed over here, set it to 18, which is the highest it'll go, and we need to run it over this area, and then we'll pick it up and weigh it and see how much is in the square metre. So just like you've got to line your arrow up on the drop spreader with the edge. Never done this before either. So look at that, there's loads coming out there, so that'll be way too much. Absolutely way too much. But it's good to know. And then, well, because we've got that bit over there, I think that'll do. I think that'll do. It's hard work. We've got a load on the floor, so you'll have a nice load of stuff growing on there. So what I'll do is I'll just get my little tray. Could do a little brush as well. Sticks, static. So I'll just brush it all on. There we go. Take it over to the scales. Okay, so I've got this tared at, the pan weighs 258 grams. So I'm going to take that into account. So that tray is 156 grams of seed. So I think what we'll do is we'll drop it down to 9 and we'll see what that gives us on the spreader. I'll try not to get any on the floor this time. So I'm just changing this down to 9. Then we'll give it another run. Try and not get as much on the floor this time because we're wasting it. There you go. Nice, getting better at it. So we'll get our pan. Put this one in the pan. 9. We are at 62 grams per square metre. So if we go down to about 5, I think that will give us our 35 grams per square metre. So let's go and have a look. When the seed's on the white, you can see how small it is. Really is like a strawberry seed. It's really tiny. So that's 5. And we're at 24 grams a square metre. So we probably need to go up to 6 and try that. Okay, so we've just quickly done 6 as well, and we've got 36 grams a square metre dropping out of that, so that is near enough fine for me. Just a little bit extra for the birds, I guess, even though we're going to be tarping this one. We'll have a chat about that once we get outside and show you how we're going to do the prep work and how this is going to go forward from now. So yeah, we dug this lawn up and we put in 6 tonne of soil. Ideally, probably if you were growing a proper USDA green, you would need the USDA sand, but because we were prepping this for turf, we are stuck with the topsoil that we put down just to hold more moisture. But it's great because we get more firmness as well with that. But because it's like freshly dug topsoil, with any freshly dug topsoil, like grade A topsoil, even if it's grade A topsoil, still full of weeds. So when we're growing seed job like this, we need to treat it like we would at a turf farm. So what we would do is we'd plough the field and we would just leave it for a few weeks. So we're on 4 weeks since we did this now, and we've got all the weeds coming through. So just show you those up close. So what we need to do is, before these get to seed, we need to treat them with Roundup or glyphosate or some derivative of that. I've got Roundup, so we'll spray it with that, leave it for a few days just for the weeds to perish and for the bacteria in the soil to break down the Roundup, so we can safely go on with our seed. It does say on the label 24 hours, but I like to leave it a bit longer than that, just because the weeds are obviously going to take a week or so to perish. And obviously in the meantime, some new weeds might grow, but we're going to be chasing the tail if we just leave it. New seeds of the weeds are still going to come through, but the cleaner we can get, just have that initial hit of letting the weeds grow that came with it. We're going to try our best to keep the surface weed free, but luckily there's no annual meadowgrass growing in it, so we shouldn't have an annual meadowgrass problem. So also, if you've got a driveway like block paving, just like we have here, we've also treated the drive, so if you do have any annual meadowgrass in there, it's not going to get put onto here when we're just trafficking maybe later on in the year with the mowers when we give it its first cut. But that is a few weeks off yet. So let me just show you what we've been up to so far in terms of getting to this point. It's just been a case of walking over it in the heat that we had. That was great. So I was just doing the March of the Penguin dance a lot. Came for a week every day, just keep walking in different directions, just like this. Just show you up close what I was doing, breaking down all the big lumps. So what we've got is more or less all the big lumps right there. We're still going to have little tiny stones and stuff in there, but I think we'll be fine. And what I've got a ton of kiln dried 70-30 top dressing. So once we've seed slotted the whole area, put our seed down, I'm going to go over it with the top dressing just to get a lovely nice flat layer. And then what we're going to do is, I've just had a bit of success with a job putting some just tarpaulin over the seed. And what this is going to do, it just means any birds can't get on it, no moisture can escape, wind's not going to blow it about. So it means what we can do is get some real good heat, because what bent grass needs is 15 degrees minimum temperature even at night, which we've got at the minute. And I've got some dwarf rye growing in 3 days, germinating to green shoots in 3 days under the tarp. So this generally takes a month, but I think we can get this going in a week. I remember a few years ago I did a turfing job just down the road from here in 2012, and we used fescue bent turf, and a year went by and I was just cutting it every week. It wasn't one of these jobs where it was every day, and I had to grow some bent fescue seed. So I just went to the garden centre, I must have done, because I can't remember ever buying a bag, and I put some in a wet load of compost, kept it in the bag, sealed it up really tight, and just left it out in the sun. And I came back 24 hours later, and the compost was just a mass of roots. So I think we can get it going really quick under the tarp, and we don't have to worry about watering it as well. And because we're on a hill, the water will just drain straight off. If we were on a flat surface, we wouldn't be able to put the tarp down, because it would fall and it would sit on it, and the weight of the water, if you've got any just little hollows, would just compress that soil a little bit more, so you've got even more of a hollow there. So we don't want that. So it's all looking good. Weather's with us, and it doesn't matter, say, if it rains. So that's that. So I'm looking forward to it. So it's been 4 days since I sprayed the Roundup, and the weeds are beginning to perish. So what it's time to do is time to start prepping this to get it ready. So what I've just started doing is just to start breaking up this top surface, because it's been just compacted now for a couple of weeks and we've had a lot of rain. I've just got the seed slotter out and I'm just going over it, just breaking this top surface up, which is going to allow me then to go on with a rake and just give it a final level before we get ready for seeding. So I'm really looking forward to this. Even though I'm not into golf myself, it'd be nice to have a putt on it. Will it be this year? I really don't know. This is 30 years nearly since I seeded a bent fescue lawn. The first lawn I ever seeded was the bent fescue lawn. So those of you who say I've never done it, you don't know what you're talking about. But the great thing about this is because I'm mowing over at Galactic Project more or less every day. It's just easy to come over here and do this one. So great. So I'm just going to crack on with the seed slotter, get it a bit more level, and then what we'll do is we'll come next time when we'll be ready to seed it. Okay, so that's a good half an hour's work with the slotter slicer thing. Just mixed it all up, getting more towards that point for seeding, but it won't be yet. Got to see if all those weeds perish, and then once they've started to turn orange, you can just leave them in, don't worry about it. And we'll give this a final level, final rake, final slot, ready for the seed to fall into. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, so that's this video done. Join us next time when we will be actually seeding this lawn with the bent grass seed.
Danny, would you like a piece of cake?
I would.